the frame is more valuable than the product. Some of the most successful people in the world right now are so successful because they understand these two questions that I'm about to ask you soon, and how to position themselves on the right side of those questions. I know some people aren't ready to hear about the concepts that I'm about to speak about here, but I know some of you are also wanting to know a little bit more. So this video can either be a great thing for you or a horrible thing. I guess that depends how I frame it. Hey, I'm Jesse Tanaki, also known as JT the Human, and in this video I want to touch on two main perspectives. I'm also going to include a few things so you stop being tricked and manipulated every single day. I'm going to talk about a harsh truth in life, which is that we don't actually think for ourselves anymore, and I'm going to package all that up, reframe it so that we can focus on making the most out of this short time that we have here on Earth. The gold in here is that understanding these perspectives can set us up for greater success in life. Question 1. Do you actually like what you like? Every single day we're a product of marketing and sales. In the material items we buy, in the diets we follow, our exercise plans, our career paths, our financial movements, the list goes on. The smart people behind these products have realized that to sell better, all they need to do is market it better. A simple example would be, if I talk about option A with a sad, flat tone, you're probably not enticed to buy it. But if I talk about option B with enthusiasm and excitement, you're probably more inclined to go with option B. Even if a product is bad for you, it's not what you want at all, you'll still lock it in because you're made to believe that it's perfect for you. Let's take it further with some common things that we see daily. The framing bias effect is prevalent around us in sales every single day. Let's say you're on a diet. You go to the store for ingredients and you see two products next to each other. Product A is $10. On the label it says contains 20% fat. Product B is $12 and on the label says contains 80% less fat. Which one would you choose? Now, because we said we're on a diet, most people would go for this second option, even though it's $2 more and even though they're the exact same fat content. This is a clear example of how marketing changes our minds every single day. Let's look at YouTube. When we search on YouTube, the search results show us way more than we can handle. So which one do we choose? We choose the one that's framed the best. The title and the thumbnail hold all the power. Mr. Beast, a YouTube giant, spends around $10,000 per thumbnail per video. It might sound a little bit crazy, but there's an actual purposeful reason for it. Once we've bought into the thumbnail and the title, the next 30 seconds in the video is what frames the whole video for us in our mind. We decide in that time whether this is something we want to invest our time into and whether we'll continue watching or not. The thing is, if the start of that video is perfectly framed for us, regardless of whether the product is good or if it's what we want, we'll continue watching it anyway. Have you ever gone to the shop just to get, say, one item, like milk, for example, but you end up walking out with fruit that's on sale, snacks, drinks, lollies? Sometimes you even forget to get the milk. Same principle. Our attention is led to different places and thoughts by how things are framed. Let's look at Apple, for example. Why is the iPhone so expensive? Because it's worth it? Or because we're made to believe that it's worth it? This isn't an attack on iPhone by any means. I actually have one myself. This is just an example of framing in sales. Most companies use this technique. Some are just better than others. If you think of an Apple store that you've seen or been to, there is so much space. It's wide and open, and in the center of that space, the iPhone, the product. Look at all that space just for the product, just for the iPhone. Now, in our minds, it must be worth the price tag if it deserves all this space. A good example of this is an art gallery. When we walk through an art gallery, we see a blank wall, and on that blank wall, a few pieces of art hang. Our mind signifies that this entire wall is dedicated to this art. Therefore, this art must have high value and importance. Then we walk into the main room of the art gallery. And in the center, hanging there on its own dedicated wall, the greatest piece of art. Everyone is in awe. We stand around, we marvel at its beauty. This is generally where the finest piece of art is presented. Now, to be honest, the art could be a piece of crap, but we would never think that of something that has so much space and attention. Our mind assumes it must be of high value. To recap, we're made to believe that all these things have high value. Therefore, we should like them. This is all because of the frame that's been built for us in our mind. Question 2. Do you really know what the book is about? Now, I'm sure you've heard about the famous saying, "Don't judge your book by its cover." Great saying, very true, for two main reasons. One reason being a popular opinion, the second reason, potentially a controversial perspective. The first and widely popular reason is because things may not be what they seem. True, this can be good or bad. If the cover leads to a negative judgment, we might actually find that the content, product, or person is actually great. Same in reverse. If the cover leads to a positive judgment, we might actually find that the contents, products, or person is actually horrible. And just so that everyone's on the same page, it's also the same for the correct judgment. The cover could lead to a certain judgment, and the content, product, or person could actually reflect perfectly as the cover did. I think the main message here for reason one of why don't judge a book by its cover is a great saying, is that we won't know until we see for ourselves. The second and more controversial perspective of why don't judge a book by its cover is such a great saying, is that we still need the lesson. Although reason one is a great reason and most people would agree with it, majority of us still judge a book by its cover every single day, day in, day out. And I don't just mean people, even things like products, nutrition information, fitness plans, even down to things like which songs and movies we like. A scary truth is that sometimes when we judge something or someone, it's not even with our own opinion. Why don't we make our own opinion on things anymore? A lot of us just accept the cover that's been set and agree with the perspective that we've been led or shown to believe. I know a lot of people that believe they need to think a certain way because of family, friend groups, because the news said so. Like, because your friend group likes this, therefore you must like it too. Or the person you went to a show with didn't like the show, therefore you don't like it either. If you actually agree with them, then great. If not, be honest with yourself. Our thoughts and opinions are constantly swayed and framed by everything around us, from news to social media to famous influencers and even conversations in our communities. Social conformity is at an all-time high, with social media influencers and false information being spread constantly. There's false data showing social media accounts more popular than they really are, which leads us to believe that they're amazing. There's restaurants with customers paid to be there so that we think that it's great and amazing and we want to go there as well. There's a big graph on a TV screen next to a politician so that we think they're the most powerful person in the world. The thing is, it's endless. And to make things worse, we're constantly being shown how to think daily, but we never change our perspective to what we actually think after that. We kind of just continue down this path and end up telling everyone around us the same thing. Look, the point is, we're constantly being steered in certain directions with every single thing in life. It's time to take the wheel back. I'll be honest, if you're hearing this information or seeing this perspective for the first time, it can be a lot to take in. So now for the main point of this video, because whether all the previous information is real to you or not, the only real questions you need to ask yourself are, what do you see? What do you think? What's your frame? This, in my opinion, is the best way to take control of your thoughts and your mindset. When you're looking at things, buying things, viewing things, seeing things, ask yourself what you see and think. How do you frame this personally? The most successful people in life know how to frame things better. They can frame themselves to themselves better for more self-belief, which helps them frame themselves better to other people. Most importantly, they can frame their mind however they need to. The difference between a good day and a bad day can be as simple as how you frame it. It's not an easy task learning to reframe things, but the more that you question things, the more answers you'll find. It's all up to you.